Okay, so last time we left off and we just talked about how to do synthetic division, but we didn't have a chance to do a lot of the examples. So let me run you through this first example again and show you how to do synthetic division. So first of all, synthetic division is a shortcut for long division, but you can only do it when it's in the form x minus a. So when you're dividing by something in the form x minus a, so like x minus 1/2 or x minus 3 or x plus 5, that would be x minus a negative 5, right? You start out with the diagram where you have the backwards L, and then you have a line. You put the 0 of the divisor in the backwards L. So if you're dividing by x plus 2, you put negative 2 there. So it's whatever makes that 0. You then put the coefficients of your dividend. So we had 2x squared plus 7x plus 9, so we put 2, 7, and 9. We always drop the first term, so we drop the 2. And then it's a lattice method. So whenever we're going diagonally, we're going to multiply. Whenever we go up and down, we're going to add. Okay, so we do negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. 7 plus negative 4 is 3. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. 9 plus negative 6 is 3. So that's our remainder. So we ended up with a quotient of 2x plus 3 and a remainder of 3. And I always remember that once you box in the remainder, this first spot is your 1 spot. It's the thing that just is a number, no x's. This is the x's. So 1x. This next one would be x squared, then x cubed, then x to the 4th if you kept going to the left. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, so let's try an example. So it says divide x squared minus 5x plus 4 by x minus 3. And then we're going to write our final answer in the form p of x equals d of x times q of x plus r of x. Okay. So my divisor is x minus 3, so I put the 0 of the divisor. So basically whatever makes that 0. So if I plug in 3, that's what makes it 0. So I put that in the backwards L. I always remember it's just the opposite sign. If it was x minus 3, you put positive 3. And again, the reason we do that is because with long division, remember we always drew the line and then subtracted. So with synthetic division, you're adding. So it's already taking care of that opposite thing for you. Okay, so my numbers are negative 5, and 4. So I put 1, negative 5, and 4 on the right of my backwards L. I draw my line, drop the first term. Okay, so then I do 3 times 1 is 3, add straight down, I get negative 2. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, add straight down, I get negative 2. Draw your backwards L, or draw the L around the remainder. Okay, so we know the remainder is negative 2. What's the quotient? So Caitlin, what do you think the quotient is? 1x minus 2. Yep, 1x minus 2. Okay, so again, this is the number, this is the x term. If I had more, it'd be x squared, x cubed, x to the 4th, and so on. You can also get a hint from what you started with. You started with an x squared and you divided by x, so your first term should be x then. X squared divided by x is x. Okay, so the next one I have, divide x cubed minus 27 by x minus 3. Write your answer in fraction form. Okay, so this time we are missing some terms. I'm missing x squared, I'm missing x. So you need to put in zeros whenever you're missing terms, just like we did with the long division. So I'm going to put 3 in my backwards L. I'm going to have 1x cubed, 0x squared, 0x minus 27. So that's where those came from. Draw the line. Drop the first term. Okay. 3 times 1 is 3. Add straight down, I get 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Add straight down, I get 9. 3 times 9 is 27. Add straight down, I get 0. Okay, so you're always doing 3 times 1, you put it here, then you add straight down. And then you take that number and you do 3 times 3, you put it here, and then you add straight down. Okay, you see the method? Okay, so that means my quotient, this would be 9, 3x, x squared. So I'd have x squared plus 3x plus 9. Again, look at your original. You divided an x cubed by an x, so you're going to end up with something with x squared. And your remainder is 0. Okay. I'm realizing we didn't write it in the form p of x equals d of x times q of x plus r of x for the one above. So if you remember, your p of x is your original polynomial, so it's called your dividend. So that was your x squared minus 5x plus 4. Your divisor was what you divided by, so x minus 3. Your quotient was x minus 2, and your remainder was negative 2. Remember, the remainder is just hanging off on the end. It's not being multiplied. It's just being subtracted or added. Okay, you could multiply that whole right side out, and you would see that it equals x squared minus 5x plus 4. So you can always check these. Okay, let's write this next one in the same form, so in the p of x form. Because I want you to see that this one ends up being x cubed minus 27, that was p of x. My divisor was x minus 3. My quotient was x squared plus 3x plus 9. And your remainder was plus 0, so you don't even need that remainder written on the end. So I'm just going to erase it. Okay, so the cool thing about what we did is we have now just factored x cubed minus 27. Do you guys remember factoring from Algebra 1? Okay, so things like x cubed minus 27, originally you were like, I don't know how to factor that. A lot of you guys would try x minus 3 times itself 3 times, but it doesn't work. So this is actually how you would factor x cubed minus 27. So we're going to talk a lot about that in the next few sections. Okay, so the last one, if the divisor is a binomial not in the form x minus a, but it's still a binomial, and it's linear. Remember, linear means x to the first, so it's not x squared or x cubed or anything like that. You can still use synthetic division, but it's a little bit trickier. So for example, if I'm dividing by 2x minus 1, you can divide both the numerator and denominator by 2. This would then make your denominator x minus 1/2. Okay, so here's what I mean by that. So here's your original, so 4y to the 4th minus 5y squared plus 2y plus 4. And I want to divide by 2y minus 1. Okay, I want the divisor to be in the form y minus something. Okay, but right now it's 2y minus something. Okay, so I need to get rid of the 2. So what you're going to do to the top and the bottom is you're going to divide by 2. And it's going to give you scary fractions, but it will be okay. So let's go ahead and write them as decimals, since you guys like those better. So 4 divided by 2 is 2y to the 4th. Negative 5y squared divided by 2 is negative 2.5y to the 2nd. 2y divided by 2 is y. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And on the bottom you get 2y divided by 2 is y, minus 1 divided by 2 is 0.5 or 1/2. So you can use decimals or fractions, doesn't matter. Okay, that's allowed because we divided both the numerator and denominator by the same thing, so it's the same fraction. Okay, now you can do your synthetic division. So put 0.5 in your backwards L. You have negative 2.5. Oh wait, I missed something, didn't I? What do I need? 0, right? It's missing a y cubed, so I need 0. Negative 2.5, 1, and 2. Drop the first term, which is 2. So 2 times 1/2 is 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1/2 times 1 is 1/2, so 0.5. Negative 2.5 plus 0.5 is negative 2. 0.5 times negative 2 is negative 1. Add straight down and get 0. 0.5 times 0 is 0. add straight down, I get 2. So your final answer is 2. Think about what y. We have y to what power? Y to the what? I heard someone say it, 3. Do you guys see why it's 3? Because I had y to the 4th originally, and I'm dividing by y to the 1st. So it should be y cubed. If you didn't know, this is the number. This is y. This is y squared. This is y cubed. So work backwards. So I get 2y cubed plus 1y squared minus 2y plus 0. So you don't have to write that part. And then plus, remember your fraction form is always your remainder over your divisor. Okay, do you guys think you would leave it as 2 minus y minus, or 2 over y minus 1/2? No, why? What's weird about that? Yeah, you have like a fraction over a fraction. So what could you do to get rid of the fraction over a fraction? Yeah, multiply by 2 over 2. Just like you did originally, you divided by 2 over 2. Now let's multiply by 2 over 2. Okay, so you get 2y cubed plus y squared minus 2y plus 4 over 2y minus 1. So that would be your final answer. Okay, so that one's a little tricky when you have something not in the form y minus a or x minus a or whatever.